All right, this is going to be continuing on in Geometry 1, 1.01. And so that is in the basics of geometry. This is video 2. We've already looked at in video 1 the undefined terms and a couple defined terms. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you've seen that. It might make some of this make more sense. So we've talked about array already in the first video here. And so the next term that we're going to define is a vertex. And you should be taking notes at home, have some paper and pencil and be taking notes. A vertex is the common endpoint. Common, and common means shared, common endpoint of two segments or rays. So that's line segments, or rays that form and in parentheses, a corner of an angle. So if we think of something like this, so we have two rays, the vertex is right there. So here's one ray extending off that way. Here's another ray. Each ray, this is their endpoint. So it's a shared or common endpoint. And it forms the corner of the angle. Corner is in quotes there because it's not like a formal thing. It's not what we really talk about corners when we're thinking about geometry. The next one is an angle. So an angle, oops, that doesn't say angle. That says angle. All right. An angle is formed wherever two lines, segments, or rays intersect. And angles are measured in degrees. Later you'll find out that there are other ways to measure angles, but for now they're just measured in degrees. So notice that this says two line segments, two lines or segments or rays intersect. So two lines would look like that. And there are actually four angles there. One here, one there, one there, one there. Two segments. So you could actually have just segments. And it's actually much the same all there. Notice segments have those endpoints. And rays, and you can have something like this. You could also have something like this where you have a ray and a ray like that. And that's, so there are different ways that these angles can occur. And it's important that we, when we name an angle, if we have something like this, and we name these points like that, then this is known as angle ABC. So the angle, notice that the vertex is in the middle of the name. You wouldn't call this angle BAC because point A is not the vertex. All right. You could also call this angle CBA. So naming it this way, CBA, that's just fine. And you could also just call it angle B. though it's a little less precise, and it's nicer to refer to the 3 letters for the name. There is also some key parts. This is the interior. That is the interior angle. And we can, I guess I could have made that in green here. I'll do this. So I'm going to label that interior angle. And then out here, oops, wanted to have an orange pen, not a highlighter. Out here is the exterior angle. So interior means inside, exterior means outside. And one thing to know is that all the way, an interior angle plus an exterior angle totals 360 degrees, because that's all the way around. So if we do the measure of an interior angle plus the measure of an exterior angle, the total will equal 360 degrees. Always, always, always true. All right. Any questions so far? Thank you. Thanks for making sure I know that you're here with me still. All right, so next we have a pair of parallel lines. Parallel lines. And parallel lines are 2 lines that lie within the same plane. They're said to be coplanar. And never intersect. So if you think about like the idea that this is a plane and this is a plane, there might be a line on this plane and a line on this plane, and they never intersect, but they're not parallel because they're not coplanar. They're not within the same plane. So that's one thing that's really key, is that parallel lines have to be on the same plane. All right. And if we have 2 lines that are parallel, let's see, I'll draw a couple parallel lines, and I'm going to make sure that they're parallel by just copying it and pasting it. There, those are parallel lines. And let's call this one line A and this line B. This, let's see, this shows that they are parallel. If we put a mark on it like that, that means they're parallel. Now, sometimes there might be multiple pairs of parallel lines, and in that case, you would put 2 on like that to make sure that you know that those 2 are the ones that are parallel. That does not show those are parallel because they have a different number of marks, okay? So the way that we then say, hey, these 2 lines are parallel, is we write A parallel to B. And so those 2 kind of vertical lines next to each other means parallel. Now remember that these lines go on forever and they never intersect. And we can actually use the slope formula, we'll find out later, to show that lines don't intersect. They have the same slope. And let's see. So really in geometry, what we're doing is we are using all these ideas, angles. We actually haven't talked about circles at all yet either. I need to talk a little bit about circles. So in a circle, we have radius and diameter. So radius we have a circle, let me see if I can make a circle with this. No, that wasn't it. There we go. All right. So the radius is the distance, I think, from the oh, I guess I should define a circle first. That'd probably be helpful. So a circle is a set of all points in a plane that are a given distance or the same distance from a point, the center. So here, let's say if we have the center here, and that is point P, then we can say that any point here, they're all the same distance away from point P, and so that makes all the points on that line a circle. And so we represent this as circle P, like that. And that then is useful because then we can think of the idea of a radius as the distance from the center to any point on a circle. So if I like highlight this with a pink, so radius. So the radius is that distance right there. And then the other thing that we need is a diameter, is the distance or the length of a line, maybe is a better way of thinking of it. Length of a line segment from one side, that's one side of a circle to the other. And that has to go through the center. I'm really squeezing it in there. I'm going to be in the way. I'm going to be in the way in the video there. So through the center. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to highlight that one with red. Those look different. Yeah, they look different. All right. And so the diameter looks like this. So it's all the way across. So that's the diameter. So notice that the diameter is always double the length of the radius as well. And that's an important part of the circle.